which rests within the traditional territory of the Mississaugas, a branch of the Anishinaabe Nation, including Algonquin, Chippewa, Okinawa Nation, Ojibwe, and Potawatomi peoples. Indigenous peoples throughout Ontario have cared for and continue to protect Turtle Island and its resources. Together, we commit to the responsibility of reconciliation and the work involved in increasing awareness and understanding of our shared history as friends and as allies. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please rise if you are able, and kindly please remove all hats for the flag of O Canada.
It's the 20th anniversary of the Ontario Lacrosse Festival here at Iroquois Park in Whitby. This is the main pad, and it is the provincial finals in the U15 division. The Northumberland Nemesis and their perfect 5-0 record facing off against the St. Catharines Athletics and their perfect 5-0 record. I'm Matthew Carrick, joined alongside Spencer Tangway after a great barn burner in the U13 division. Burlington taking the gold there. Set up for a great matchup here between two undefeated teams. Fitting we had a whole ton of boxing analogies in the start of this one because, as they say, someone's O's got to go right now.
Yeah, this is a tremendous battle here that we have set. The Northumberland Nemesis, a team you think of course, the Peterborough Lakers, the Orangeville Northmen, St. Catharines, the Whitbys. Mark my word, the Northumberland Nemesis marking their territory as one of the big shots here at the A provincial title, and they will wear the maroon and black against the St. Catharines Athletics, the double blue crew. This is a battle that everyone had circled, 1 and 2 in the province, and for St. Catharines, they're the U15 champions in 2023 and 2018 at this level. They're looking for their 5th championship in 7 years.
And not many drives further between two centers either. Northumberland just outside of Cobourg, Ontario, which is about 2 hours away from Toronto, and St. Catharines about 2 hours away in the other direction, back around the Golden Horseshoe, down by the border by Niagara Falls. So about 4 hours or more between these two centers. Teams that probably aren't going to do battle too many times throughout the season, but they meet here, and it is for a provincial title. Glad to have you aboard, as well as right away St. Catharines in their iconic double blue. The Powders going today against the purple of the Nemesis, as Spencer said. Quick pass back to the crease and a low shot. Fitting in this barn, goaltender's name Tucker Williams for the Northumberland Nemesis.
Yeah, Tucker Williams will be the guy that we're going to talk about a lot in this ballgame. I mentioned in the U13 broadcast, how about a 6'5" goaltender coming in at the U15 age, and of course, sporting that Team Ontario bucket. He's a guy that has played in big games, and he gets the call here tonight. Of course, they're starting goaltender, and it's going to be a battle for the St. Catharines Athletics to get balls on him and be able to generate a good reset.
Hudson Reel down to Colton Dirks, walking through first test of the night for Franklin John, the starting netminder for St. Catharines.
Good test here for, again, both goaltenders, two bigger goaltenders here, so we'll see what the offenses can do. Of course, both teams playing the full 200-foot game still, so they'll have to use their feet. This is a lot of lacrosse in a short amount of time for both clubs.
In front, they score. First blood goes the way of the Athletics.
Just a quick release. He able to get inside, and he beats him 5-hole, which is going to be the weakness on bigger goaltenders, of course. Able to get inside, and the St. Catharines Athletics will open up the scoring here in the championship game, as I believe it was Sanchez just rolling to the middle, and again, bouncer right at the feet, and Williams unable to get a stick across.
Braxton Sanchez indeed with the opening goal. Making it 1-0, scheduled for 3 15-minute run-time periods here in the minor level. We'll play the entire minor OLA box rulebook as well. Take you through those rules as the game progresses.
Yeah, of course. You look at both these teams and you look at the bench bosses of both these clubs. How about Ryan McMichael on the bench for the Northumberland Nemesis, a name very familiar in the junior major ranks here in the Ontario Lacrosse Association. And, of course, Matt Atwood on the bench for the St. Catharines Athletics. So many big names. Mike Atwood, along with Ian Lord running the door. So many big names for both these sides. This is a well-coached club on both sides.
Already saw that with names like Bill Greer, Sandy Chapman in our last game. How about an outside shot here that gets through? Mac Day, 2-zip.
Well, Mac Day, how about the son of the great Paul Day, who is tremendously known, of course, in the National Lacrosse League and was a part, of course, with the Peterborough Lakers. And Mac Day going to represent Ontario coming up at the national level, for the U15 Team Ontario club. And again, another outside shot, a bouncer that goes right between the legs, and 2 shots, 2 goals, exactly what you're asking for if you're the Double Blue Crew.
You knew they weren't messing around when they come out with the glass hanging fans above the bench. Hot one here in Whitby, as it's been most of the week. Already a broken stick and already a good shot there, and Braxton Sanchez coming out with a loose ball. Hidden ball play, they'll leave it over on the far side. Jackson Mattia faking the pass back to the outside. It'll be Jackson Georgiev. Into the corner again, 10 on the shot clock left for the Athletics. Hard pass near side, and Sanchez this time shoots off the leg of, I believe, Colton Dirks.
Big man here on the defensive side for the Northumberland Nemesis, of course, and that's Preston Neal. He'll wear 13, just a very big Northumberland team. Just able to get to the dirty spots in the middle here, and this is a hard-working team led by Ryan McMichael as they swing it back to Neal on the far side.
Nick Nalisnik working it through into the middle. Coulter Watson from outside. Got it down into the feet there of John, but not out of the crease. Talked about this earlier on. There is turf down here on pad 1 for the first time here at the festival. These teams may not be used to playing on turf in their normal box games, and especially throughout this tournament, so could be an adjustment made on the surface here.
Well, you'd have to go advantage St. Catharines, you'd think, with the Canada Games Park, of course.
Yes.
Both turfs in for the season, so they play a lot of their games on turf, whereas Coburg, of course, used to the concrete. However, might get up to the PMC a couple of times to play some games not too far away.
Hudson Lord. So forget what I just said.
Hey, what you normally said right there is 100% true, except these two teams, you do get the odd game on turf for sure.
Forgot all about Canada Games Park. Of course.
Matt,
down in St. Catharines, the Minto Cup, but at the Meridian Center.
Correct, yeah, and that's going to be, of course, a big difference playing on that big Meridian Center. However, with the Canada Games turf, big key factor to winning this game right now is going to be who's going to be the most disciplined team. Both coaching staff likes to push the envelope. McMichael, of course, actually a certified official this year with the Ontario Lacrosse Association, is a guy who will like to get his team in those dirty areas, push the limit, try to find what the officials are going to call. And for St. Catharines, you got Ian Lord, of course, and Mike Atwood, two guys that have played at the highest level. They know what they can do to earn kind of every possession possible. See how far they push the boundary.
Colin Fakari off the bench from Connor Atwood, who was a late change as Georgiev went off looked like holding his left arm. We'll keep an eye on number 44 in double blue as the shot clock's going to sound here against the Athletics, thanks to some good defense by Mason Lowe.
See if Northumberland has an answer here. 2 quick goals in maybe 2 minutes time to go up 2-0. If you're the St. Catharines Athletics, a picture perfect start. Now if Northumberland has something here.
Shot, rebound, right back to Lowe, cutting through the crease, and John forced into back-to-back stops. Little screen down in the corner, may have been a little bit of a moving one, but play comes back the other way with Sanchez, the goal scorer. Playing it out to the far side for the Athletics. They lead 2-0 early on here. Although a 2-goal lead, as we saw in the U13 game. Not safe as Sanchez walks in. It was 3-1 Peterborough over Burlington in the first. And Burlington come back the entire way.
Well, 2-goal lead right now for St. Catharines, but as you know, like you mentioned, Matt, no lead safe at all. And both teams 2 timeouts. Nowhere near in panic mode at all if you're Northumberland, as there's a good stop from Williams. But you feel like the next one has to go your way.
Williams will bounce it back to his team. We are past the halfway mark, by the way, as the DJ makes his presence known on the crease dive from Cameron Pemberton. Next stoppage in play will get the goaltenders to take a water break if you weren't with us for game number 1. Ball down, Georgiev is back out there and plays it to the far side to Atwood. Atwood gonna cut the corner and be played back off the reset.
Couple of Team Ontario buckets here, both sides, of course, for St. Catharines and Northumberland. A couple of guys playing out in Halifax in just a couple of days. I know a couple of the officials working today's games are flying out tomorrow morning to Halifax to work the national championship. And today's officials of Connor Gillis and Josh St. Thomas, and Josh St. Thomas will be one of them, boarding a flight tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
Congratulations, you did great at the festival. Wake up at 4 tomorrow. Out in transition, a shot from Keegan Louie, and Williams going to stand his ground.
Big stop, and that's exactly what Northumberland needed, a settled save, and that's a tremendous stop from Tucker Williams.
We've got a Tucker Williams and a number 51 in the game, somewhat fittingly, here in Whitby. Off the bench, Cameron Pemberton going to the far side, under 6 to play now, on the run. Shot into the feet of John, bounces up out of play. And we'll play on, still waiting for that goalie water break. Nick Delisnik. Nice little flip pass to the cutter. Bobby Scrutton. John has looked really good in the early going, been tested a lot from a good offense from the Nemesis.
Yeah, 2 quick goals from St. Catharines, but in the last 5 minutes or so, they've been not really the best defensively. A couple of missed assignments on that pick and roll. Allowed a great offensive chance for Northumberland as there's a heavy pick going into the boards.
Off the Mac Day shot. Day will get it back, taking top spot again. Sanchez trying to cut past his man on the near side. They'll chop with each other. Screen coming as the ball is over on the right side. Shot skips off the turf and the end boards. Keegan Louie had it bounce back into the timekeeper's area. No over and back, it should be said, unless killing a penalty. Same with the 10-second count, I believe.
Yeah, it's interesting. This turf, when they put it down, it's perfect for Ontario junior lacrosse and major series lacrosse, but minor, there's no minor restraining lines on the turf, so they've kind of used the makeshift creases that you see in the R and E of Riptide, and of course the over and back, normally a restraining line, they'll be using the center red line, so a modification to the rules today. Just to confuse you a tad more.
I don't need any help in that department, trust me. Bryson DiTilio.
We're always here to help, Matt.
DiTilio to the far side will wait for the turn pass. Under 10 on the shot clock, is walking his way through. Landon Sicard.
Big offensive rebound here to get a use out of a full 30 now. This defensive core for Northumberland's been on for about a minute here in their own end. Good kind of 60 seconds of ball movement here from St. Catharines.
Getting it back to Sicard again. Looked off the cutter. Detilio with it. Atwood. Couple big chops as he got stood up there. Oliver McCulloch. Now down the other way low. One-on-one. Detilio going to push him out wide. And that is a great job coming back by the offensive player.
Talk about Detilio. What a job. Able to stay right with the Northumberland nemesis. And he's battling out of Mason Low. Low unable to stay to his feet. That's a tremendous check coming from Detilio the other way for the double blue.
He missed us in the first game. No offense, defense, I think, till we get to U17, correct?
Yes, correct. U15, U13 you can, but U17 it'll be more like a junior rule.
There you go. Nemesis will get set up again inside of 3 minutes left to go here in the period. These 15-minute run times fly by. Stepping up, that shot from Dirks bounces off John up at a play, and finally the officials will take the water break with 2:37 left to go in the first.
Yeah, shocking. They almost grant the water break. You'd almost think at this point, hey, 2 minutes left. However, get them the water break, keep it even for both sides, and what a start for the St. Catharines Athletics, Matt. 2 quick goals, and 13 minutes to go. They are up by a pair. Northumberland starting to settle in, and this Northumberland Nemesis team, number 1 of the province pretty much the entirety of the season, and led by Ryan McMichael, who has done a tremendous job coaching these guys. And, of course, this Northumberland team far from out of this ball game, only down 2-0.
Well, I remember back, I think it was only about 2012-13, they were starting up the Northumberland Nemesis program, and we're trying to get people sponsored. I was working for CLAX at the time, went out there, did a kind of a promotional game, promoting it with House League. You think of the last 12-15 years, I mean, St. Catharines has championships on championships over that time and other programs in the province, but for the Nemesis to be here in this short of time is really, as you said, starting to mark their territory here in Ontario.
Yeah, and it just shows what this great sport can do in such quickly times. Of course, COVID, you talk about some bad negative times, but it was the best time to get, kids sticks in hands, and they learn the sport. And these kids right now at the U15 level here, so much room to grow, and they would have started 5-6 years ago really playing competitive lacrosse.
Sicard through Detilio. As we said, under 15 years old, only about 2 or 3 years away from being the next junior class that's going to come through. And we'll have that U17 game. Players hoping to get drafted coming up in just over an hour from now, 7:30 Eastern Time.
And what a game that'll be. The Orangeville Northmen and the Halton Hills Bulldogs pretty much 1-2 again in the province.
Dirks cutting back out of the corner. Do they have any history? I don't know.
I'm sure we can name a few stories between those two rivals.
You've got some time to do some YouTube searching as we got a player down and hurt in behind the crease. And this one looks like it could be serious. Don't like to see any of these at any point, but even more so in this championship game.
Well, I didn't see what happened, and I was looking down to the St. Catharines bench. No one was looking at the official for a penalty here.
Oh, just a rolled ankle.
And that'll do it. I mean, the turf monster sometimes comes out, or you jam your foot in a little bit too hard into the turf, and a rolled ankle, one of those ones you do not want to see, of course. But again, what a difference this turf has made to this great facility. Just a year old now. The former turf of the New York Riptide. May look a little bit funny with the colors, but boy, for the President's Cup coming up, it'll add so much. And, of course, the Whitby Warriors and Brooklyn Merchants. What a time for the Brooklyn area and Whitby Lacrosse Club.
It is Richard Archangel, the fourth, who is down behind the net. We're actually going to step aside while he seeks attention and come back. It's 2-0 St. Catharines here in the U15 A Provincial Championship game. You can see Richard Archangel IV coming off the floor, although with help here with a minute 25 left to go. So thoughts there for Archangel as well as St. Catharines, who do lead 2-0. As you go back to the face-off dot here. And quickly pulled out by Keegan Louie. Although his pass intended to go to a player streaking down floor, intercepted. And Nick Nalisnik will come back.
See what Northumberland has here with a minute left. I don't expect any sort of timeout. It'll be kind of a run-and-gun offense here as they set up something with the lefties on the far side. But a good stop by John once more.
Shot into the feet from Preston Neal into the final minute of this first period. That little surge early on from St. Catharines looked like they may run away with this one, but credit the Nemesis defense for stepping back in. See if it'll remain a 2-goal lead for St. Catharines heading into the break. Only a short 5-minute timeout in between these periods as well. Throughout this festival and tournament, hidden ball play. Bobby Scrutton had it. Played it back through the corner. Now it's behind the crease. Quickly turning back out. No shot there for Nalisnik. Comes outside the restraining line. That hit his own man, did Dirks, and then got filled in by a hard check from Ty Duncan Grant. Takedown in the corner will come. Thought we were getting interference, but the time has run out. Zero's on the clock. And a 2-0 lead for the Athletics after one.
Just a hard-working period for the St. Catharines Athletics, and it's summed up by that last D shift in the last 30 seconds of the period. Able to force them outside, couple of block shots, and a loose ball battle that's just pushed to the corner. As I look on the floor now, and you got McMichael and the coaching staff wondering, hey, we have 30 minutes left here. No goals, a position that they have not been in, I don't believe, all tournament long, down 2-0 after one.
Second period coming up after a quick timeout. Just about 2.5 minutes from now, we'll take a short break and bring you back here to the main pad at Iroquois Park Sports Center and the U15A Provincial Championship game. Back here at Iroquois Park Sports Center in the Ontario Lacrosse Festival, 20th anniversary of this great event. As we're down to the final couple days and the final couple provincial championships at the A level here, U15, Northumberland Nemesis, St. Catharines Athletics, and I understand they have a history, Tanger.
Yeah, they sure do. And I was just speaking with one of the parents on St. Catharines who reminded me these two teams met in May back in Brampton at the Ontario Lacrosse Field Provincials, where St. Catharines came out on top, crown champions against Northumberland. Now they take it to the turf inside Iroquois Park for round 2.
Big high step, a little taken off the shot from Landon Sicard. Rebound goes right back down the other way to Bobby Strutton. Comes across the crease, but so does John to make good stop, his first of this new period, but Strutton comes away with the loose ball.
Yeah, if you're Northumberland, I think it's got to be a shot on the run that's going to beat the big man of Franklin John. And John able to just stay with him. Again, he's able to put his feet pretty much on the pipes and stay with every single shooter.
Carter Richards through Preston Neal, that shot. Did that hit the post, I think? And going to bounce all the way down floor. Williams comes to the top of the crease to launch it back from whence it came and nearly intercepted cleanly by Louis, but it's Northumberland who are going to head back on offense.
Talk about pep in your step coming out of the intermission. Northumberland flying here to start this second period. Coming right at St. Catharines.
All the way up top and in the back of the net, Carter Richards puts the nemesis on the board.
That starts with hard work in the offensive end. They get the breakaway, of course. Don't like the result. Rebound, though, comes up top. They ring it off the goalpost. Able to find the Lucy at center, come all the way back, and a great feed. And it's Carter Richards. Watch this. This one's going to come all the way back down. They're going to take it behind the goal. Watch top of your screen. Carter Richards coming up, and it's a blast all the way high to low. And again, it's that shot. You're not going to beat him on the inside. If you're going to beat John, it's going to be a shot.
St. Catharines backpedaling now as the faceoff goes back in the nemesis end. And they're going to work downhill again. The crossback move from Colton Dirks in and out of his stick. Heads back in the direction of Jackson Mattia. So I stand corrected, a pair of 51s. Fittingly in this game, Landon Sicard. High step from Keegan Louis, outside shot, scores. 2-goal lead restored.
Well, the Louis name a staple in St. Catharines lacrosse, and Father Tim Louis, of course, is going to be happy with this one. Number 21 just sees the wide open lane. Too easy if you're Northumberland, allowing Keegan to come right down the main street like that. And a great shot low, a bouncer. That'll go between the legs again of Williams. You could tell these two teams, not only on the field, played each other, of course, once in this tournament in the final 6, and they met, of course, in St. Catharines in weekend 2 of the qualifiers. These guys know how you're going to beat these two big goaltenders, and St. Catharines 3 goals now on about 10 shots.
St. Catharines, if I remember correctly, the only team with one team in each of the 3 final 6 divisions, U13, 15, and 17.
Yeah, I'd have to look at that. They are one of the few, if that. I know for sure they have all 3 here. Of course, the U13s not able to make it. This is the only team that made it to the gold medal game. The U13s lost to the Halton Hills Bulldogs in the bronze medal game earlier today. The U17s finished 5th. As that U17 division coming up later, it was a division that was undecided until about 10 a.m. this morning. No team was set in the gold medal game. Halton Hills won the division with a record of 4-1, but it was 3 teams tied at 2-2 heading into their final game this morning.
Connor Atwood shot cleanly blocked by a defender in front, picked up by Louis again off the boards, shot from the far side into the feet of Williams, who stands his ground.
Yeah, good stop here from Tucker Williams. And again, even that half step out from Williams, that big wooden goaltending stick, not much showing there, and a good stop for the Northumberland netminder.
Cameron Pemberton back to Scrutton off the bench. Near side, Zachary Medema being chased all the way by Atwood, nearly back to center now. Shot clock's going to expire, nothing doing for the Nemesis as Atwood takes a return slash. As him and Medema were involved that entire set.
Yeah, I love to see the officials just let him battle here. A couple of kind of tit-for-tat situations there, a good push and a whack, but that's it. Nothing really settled here. Let him play and let the boys on the floor settle it.
Mac Day trying to thread the needle to go back door in the crease to Detilio. Detilio perhaps a little undersized, but nearly able to use the wall to get through. Stick knocked out of his hands just as the shot clock expires. We talked about it in the first game. Not just these kids that are growing and learning kind of maybe a different style of play as they grow older and venture towards the junior ranks, but officials as well coming up through the qualifying ranks.
Yeah, no doubt. Josh St. Thomas reffing this game with Connor Gillis, and a lot of these guys have worked big games, and this is going to be the biggest one that they've worked. Of course, both of these guys working their first U15 A final here, and a big moment for the boys in black of Connor Gillis and Josh St. Thomas as a push on the back call will give the ball back to the Nemesis.
Carter Richards from the outside, having to shoot around Detilio that time. St. Catharines will bring it down. We shouted out, of course, Shane Hubbard, Jeremy Bailey, Ian Garrison, Andrew Ecclestone, Sean Grenier, and many others in charge of a huge refereeing crew here at the festival. And congratulations to all the men and women in black over the course of the last 9 days or so.
You got to love seeing finals, though, that you never know. Going to go back and forth here. Again, 3-1 the score, where we kind of hit a wall in that U13 final. 3-1 for about 5-10 minutes time. We're at the exact same stage here. 3-1 the score for St. Catharines. The story in the U13, it was Burlington able to climb out of that 3-1 hole and go on a run in the third. See if Northumberland has that same storyline.
Outside bouncer hits off John. We are one face-off win and one broken pane of glass away from matching last night's Junior A game in this building.
Yeah, what craziness here inside Iroquois Park.
When it was 3-1 for most of the game.
Again, 2 goals that you never really expect to happen. Never have a comeback like that on your bingo card, and then the fans celebrating and, of course, break the glass for a 30-minute delay.
Outside shot. Look out here. Oh, that one went high off of Williams, and as it was falling down, defender sneaks in behind to save it.
It's where you need the overhead cam to see a good look of how high that ball comes up, and a tremendous job from Northumberland calming their goaltender down. See what they can answer here.
The shot from Dirks. He was the defender that took that one off the line. As now one switch off the bench. Richards couldn't handle the pass. Played back through Neal to the far side. Jump ball brought down here for a quick shot from Nelisnik.
Good save, but again, this is the third offensive rebound for Northumberland. A very tired St. Catharines double blue crew out there right now.
One of them, Detilio, who matched stride for stride with Richards, and as this ball bounces up out of play, we'll get the goaltender water break with 6:51 left to play in the period. And we need to shout out the OLA as well for hosting this incredible tournament. We shouted out Ron McSpadgen, Colleen Grimes, Jeremy Bailey last time, and I know absolute army of volunteers and people from all over the Ontario Lacrosse Association.
Yeah, this is a fun week. August 1st, August 10th. You mark it in your calendar. It's almost a vacation for some families who have maybe a son and daughter playing one weekend, then the next they're back. I know some of the officials working all 10 days on the turf every single day. It's one of those ones that brings this great community we call the lacrosse community around the world together, whether it be you're at home on YouTube watching this game or you're here volunteering your time, all the timekeepers, everyone. I see so many great faces that I haven't seen in so long right here at the festival.
You might only see them once a year at the festival.
So true.
And you know, I've been to big events like Grey Cup festivals and things of that nature where it's really a celebration of the sport and, you know, at that level, the country aspect of it. But you walk around and, yes, you see athletics jerseys and banners and you see Nemesis T-shirts, but you also see Burlington and Whitby.
Interesting play here as they're trying to pull the goaltender out right now. And they are going to call too many men. Now the goaltender's got to run.
Quick restart for Colton Dirks. And how about the defense stepping up to stop the fast breakout on the far boards. Not really sure what was supposed to happen there, but I can probably tell you that wasn't it.
Certainly not. Again, obviously the minds of Ian Lord and Mike Atwood on the bench. Alec Tambus, an assistant coach as well, have something, but an answer now the other way.
Nemesis get one back, and it's a one-goal game yet again. The outside shot here after the confusion maybe still in the mind of Franklin John.
Well, it's clear it's going to be a shot that's going to beat John, and it's a nice outside shot. Has a lot of space in St. Catharines, unable to get on the hands. And right now, a little confusion here at the St. Catharines netminder is John just getting a little bit of praise from his defender, and that is Vischer talking to him here. But right now, 3-2, and it's an outside blast.
Malachi Vischer on the line change went directly to the goaltender and gave a tap on the shoulder, tap on the helmet. As the Nemesis have the ball again, working it back across center. 5.5 left to go in this second period, 3-2 in favor of the Athletics, but the Nemesis perhaps starting a comeback. Richards wants the ball up top, not going to get it yet. As a shot comes, spins around John, and yes, it's in! Colton Dirks.
Wow. This might be the time you call timeout, and in St. Catharines, Mike Atwood right away. Hands in the formation of a T, and that's a tremendous call from St. Catharines. Your goaltender losing his mind right now in the net. Northumberland has the entire Iroquois Park fired up. 2 goals in a matter of a minute and a half for Northumberland, and a goal that just trickles in mentally as a goaltender. That's going to take a lot off him. It's a complete reset button here for St. Catharines.
Franklin John threw his glove, was screaming. I'm not sure at the defender or the bench. As we look at the goals back-to-back here for Northumberland that have tied this one up with under 5 to go, and John getting a heart-to-heart with one of the coaching staff here.
Yeah, that's Mikey Atwood chatting with him. And again, it's a matter of just, I think, honing him in to say, hey, you know what? The first one might be on us, right? They tried to do that little goaltending play, pull him and add the 6th attacker. Not sure where they were going with that. Didn't seem like it was needed. However, the coach is coach. We chat up here. With that being said, since that moment, a minute later, they find an answer again. 3-3. 2 quick goals early in that first period made it 2-0 St. Catharines. 2 quick goals in the second period, and it's erased. We're all knotted up right where we started.
Matt Atwood, a former goaltender himself, former runner as well. I remember one year where he was running, team wasn't doing very good, volunteered to put the pads back on and step in the net. So can speak to this young goaltender. And hopefully for John, calmed back down in between the pipes now, because he was tremendous, except for the last minute or so where perhaps that little miscue at the bench kind of got into his head a little bit.
Yeah, the Atwood name, just a staple in the St. Catharines lacrosse community and the lacrosse community in general, really, whether it be on the field or inside the arena on the box. And again, both teams led by great bench staffs. This is going to be a dogfight to the finish as we reset. We're all tied up 3-3 with 4:15 left here in the middle period.
Nick Lindalisnik going to see if that heart-to-heart helped from an outside shot. And as they called timeout, St. Catharines, John does make the save, and just for good measure, Jackson Georgiev making sure nothing squeaks out the back door. But the Nemesis is getting a chance to talk about it too, saying, listen, we've got this goalie rattled. Let's keep on shooting.
Yeah, you know what? You love the shots, but again, you look back at the tape and where those couple of outside shots have come from. Now they're almost too far out, way almost at the hockey blue line. Again, McMichael will try to hone him in here and push them way inside that NLL restraining line.
Kingston Mallard from the restraining line quickly works through to the lefties late in the clock. Atwood going to try aiming for the championship banners of the Warriors, the 2022 Minto Cup champions.
Yeah, you think about all the great games that have played right here on this concrete. Not many so far on this turf, as the turf, of course, new to Iroquois Park. But you see games like this, and this is where great memories are made. Is again, there's that outside shot, a little bit too far out for my liking, and I think Northumberland will agree. They're starting to inch a little bit closer, but I do agree it's going to be a bounce shot that's going to beat John inside the pipes.
As the change comes through, Nolan Gray will leave it on the floor to Louis. St. Catharines wanting to spread the floor. Nemesis wanting to keep their defense tight. Faking the over the shoulder. Louis driven into the boards, in behind the crease, and that hits the goalie in the face mask, an automatic stoppage. Although they get the quick reset as he gave the official the thumbs up. This shot steered away by John. Not sure he's still quite in game mode going after the shooter who tried circling the crease.
Well, Williams, a big stop for the Nemesis at one end, and that's a great inside two-man game work by the St. Catharines Athletics. The righty is able to open up a lane. Great feed inside. Good stop the other end, though, by John. Both goaltenders now starting to heat up as the ball is coming fast and furious towards them, looking for that game go-ahead goal.
Shot tipped just wide. Atwood, another shot in on Williams. Top of your screen, you see the door opening, and you see the U17 Orangeville Northmen leaving to get ready for their game coming up in about 45 minutes here on the Ontario Lacrosse YouTube channel. That'll be the U17 A final against Halton Hills, scheduled for 7:30 Eastern Time. Be sure you're subscribed here. You don't miss any of the action from the festival and around Ontario. Outside rip hits off the end glass. Bouncer will come back to Preston Neal. No time for a return shot. They do give the reset, but everybody had headed for home.
McMichael on the bench trying to fool the officials. That one went out, but again, as an official himself, that one nowhere close to going out, and got to give him A for effort. However, that one only off the glass, but a good defensive set there for the St. Catharines Athletics.
Darren Satulski lost the ball. Detilio really loved the game of Detilio, who looked like he was falling on his own and then got hit. Coming in to say something, Ty Duncan Grant. We're going to get a high sticking call as a result of that collision. And not a whole lot the defender can do here. He's going to argue that the undersized player was going down, but
well, talk about a mismatch.
The helmet, always a penalty.
Well,
go ahead.
You see the mismatch, of course, for St. Catharines. It's all about keeping your feet moving. Earn the power play, and that's exactly what he does. Of course, 27 of Bryson Detilio, able to keep his feet moving, and the much bigger Nemesis has no other option. Makes that big check. And, of course, I think that's the first penalty of the ball game. Gives St. Catharines the first 5-on-4.
They'll probably run into the next period, but few seconds winding down. They'll work to the far side. Never mind. Braxton Sanchez proved me wrong again for a second time. This one gives the A's a lead heading into the third.
What a time to score a big goal right at the buzzer. A buzzer beater for the St. Catharines Athletics. And it's a power play goal. It only takes 14 seconds. And it's a shot from the far side. And it's the lefties who get it done. Sanchez, again, his second of the ball game. This one an outside blast from about 30 feet out to take the lead heading into the third. 4-3, what a period. Back and forth lacrosse, but it's capped off by the Athletics power play.
Great finish to our U13 game. Looks like it's going to be the same story here in the U15 division provincial game. Coming down to the third period. You don't want to miss it coming up in 3 minutes. We'll take the timeout and talk to you then from the OLA Festival at Iroquois Park Sports Center in Whitby. Back here in Whitby at the Ontario Lacrosse Festival 20th anniversary. Celebrating it today with 3 A Division final provincial games. Already the Burlington Blaze that come from behind win to capture the U13 gold. St. Catharines and the Nemesis working here 4-3. The score for the A's after 2. Colton Fakari out to the far side, big sidestep. Down into the net, Tucker Williams now off to our right, making the stop as it works down into his feet.
4-3 score, and we knew the game was going to be tight. There was no doubt about that. This is going to be a back-and-forth game. That's a dagger of a goal, though, for St. Catharines. The first power play, and they get it done with 1 second remaining in that period.
Colton Dirks briefly lost the ball, picks it back up, runs across the restraining line, shoots on the run, and kicked out by Franklin John.
Good offensive rebound again as Hookings gets a stick for St. Catharines. Big number 10 for St. Catharines. Hookings, Griffin Hookings, just got caught flat-footed at the top as they got a good offensive set as now the ball swings to the righties here.
Dirks to low, taken down hard. Trail officials got his arm high, and they're going to call it a high stick. I was wondering if we might not get a check from behind. He was close to the numbers, which, as we know, is 4 minutes here in minor ball.
Wow, so if you see the replay on this, watch number 10, the guy that's going to, the penalized player. He's going to hit him, the second St. Catharines player that hits him. There's the original hit, and it's Hookings. As he's going down, will clip him high, so a tough one as Mason Lowe gets caught twice. I see the check from behind. However, I think that's the correct call. The second guy gets him right in the head.
For a traditional power play, bouncer off a defender, and John recovered nicely. Took that one off the face mask in the eyes of the official.
Offensive again. Northumberland's got it right now, but again, St. Catharines back the other way, and oh my, Matt. Goaltenders have been in question in this game, as that has been the net. That has been a tough to battle with, as both goalies struggling in that net.
Credit Mac Day, though, in transition, already scored in this game and went down with a purpose directly to the cage. Didn't work that time, though. Nelisnik, the fake play. It's down in the near corner with only 10 seconds left for the Nemesis to shoot. Pemberton, Nelisnik, little skipper from up top. John makes the save. Rebound will roll back into the corner. Looks like the Nemesis are going to corral it. Minute left on the Northumberland power play.
I believe this is their first power play of the game, too, and a couple of good looks here as they move it well within that restraining line. Matt, I remember we talked about in the second period, they had to move everything in. They were too far out as they get a couple of good looks on this power play.
Dirks thought he was on his way to the bench. Nelisnik back down to the crease, and John to his left. That's a good stop with another shot down to the feet.
Yeah, a couple of good ball movements and a great look here from the Northumberland power play. John up to the task, though, and maybe a bit too easy. The ball not moving as hot as I think Northumberland would have liked that ball to move.
Landon Sicard spinning back away from pressure will play it down in towards the half wall. DeTilio on the run, shoved back towards the boards again, trying desperately to beat the shot clock. It bounds off a couple boards and back down the floor. Penalties have expired. 5-on-5 here with 11:15 left to go and counting here in this third period. We'll stop time in the final 5 once we get there.
Yeah, both teams still with both of their timeouts, and again allowed to take both those timeouts here together.
St. Catharines took that one in the other period.
Correction, absolutely correct.
But yeah, as you said, the wrinkle to the rule could take 2 in the period for Northumberland. Over the shoulder around the world, Nelisnik would have lit this place on fire. Some shoving out in the corner now. Cameron Pemberton knocks down Nolan Gray in front of the crease.
Battle through adversity. That's the message here, both these teams. And, of course, officials, only one penalty aside, have done a tremendous job. Let the boys play. Let the guys on the floor battle and earn this provincial championship. You don't want the officials making the calls, as you don't want to ever end a game like that. And right now, penalties 1-1 aside. It's been a terrific ball game.
Keegan Louie back to the righties, picked up by Atwood off the boards, and too much on that shot. It gets through for a 2-goal advantage.
just able to get it on net, and Atwood is fired up for the double blue. Firing the boys up here for St. Catharines. Caleb from the Garden City, and it's a shot that's going to beat the netminder on the rebound. It'll work as if almost a pass, able to pick up that rebound. Northumberland doesn't realize the ball's going right to Atwood, and it's Atwood who finds the back of the cage, and they restore the 2-goal lead. 5-3 now with 9:30 to go in the third.
Getting down into crunch time, a stalemate at this draw between a pair of 21s, Keegan Louie and Cameron Pemberton. It'll be awarded back to St. Catharines. I think Connor Atwood, after that celebration, might be related to the same Atwoods I know.
Oh, for sure. You know what? Again, you'd love to know what goes on to the dinner table, like an Atwood or a Day on the St. Catharines side, of course. When you have Paul Day, what a great lacrosse mind. And for Mac Day, it's just so many great talent on the bench for St. Catharines, and for Northumberland, so much as well. And that bright organization that started, like you mentioned, 10 to 12 years ago, really putting their stamp on the name here in Ontario lacrosse.
That was Braxton Sanchez with a couple goals, looking for another one. Stay with us at the end of the game for medal presentations, gold, silver, and bronze here in the U15 division, and the MVP of this championship game. Ball played back to the corner, turning and firing. Quick one, Dirks on the crease, and in it was the rebound. Number cylinder crease roll here in minor box as well.
John really settling in. That's a tremendous follow-up save. The first one, an easy routine outside save, but he's got to slide across, and he's square to the rebound. That's tremendous. That's exactly textbook what you want from your netminder.
Ty Duncan Grant working it through quickly to the corner. Only 10 left to shoot as it's on the crease. Low one in there from Colin Fikari. Down to meet it was Williams.
Oh, what a feed.
Oh, what a pickup. And the shot. Oh, saved by John. Tremendous all the way around. As Nalisnik was stopped.
That's a clip it. That's one of those ones you want to just put right in the highlight reel, but it's robbed by John. And now Northumberland's going to send a guy out the O-door here. They have a guy who hanging way high. We'll play 4-on-4 down here.
Outside shot. Went right back to the Nemesis player who lifted it high into the sky. Didn't touch anything, though, on its way back down to the carpet, meaning that Oliver McCulloch can bring it across center. Preston Neal will jog it back across the restraining line. 7 minutes to go. We should be taking the goalie water break momentarily as Mason Lowe plays it to the far side. Shot on the way through, hit off Braxton Sanchez, and indeed we will get the timeout from the officials.
Back and forth lacrosse in the third period. Can't ask for much more, and let's look at this pass. What a feed. It's going to stretch about 150 feet down the floor. What a one-handed grab. Are you kidding me? But then how about Frankie John coming up huge, a stick save, and he robs him. Again, a bigger goaltender able to have that acrobatic stop. That is lights out from both Northumberland and St. Catharines.
Well, we said it in the U13 game. We'll say it here because these players are about 2 years closer to that mark. Remember some of these names. This is the future of junior lacrosse here in the province, and then even more so as we get into our next game in about half an hour, the U17s. But this is really where the players start to become aware of plays like that, set plays, become aware of bodies getting bigger and how they can use that body. And, you know, are they a defensive player? Are they an offensive player? And plays like that, hey, I can reach behind me one-handed. Probably coaching going to like that I have to do it, but
the fact that he's able to not only pull that off and then not just panic with it, a well-placed shot this time. It's the netminder, though, who robs him and earns the well-earned battle. However, this is not over. A long way from over with 7 to go here in the third.
And remember, stop time through the last 5 minutes as well, giving these teams extra time to work. Dirks got blown up as the shot was taken. Hit hard there by Malachi Visser. Ball sits dormant on the far side. I don't think we've got a reset yet off the shot. We will now, but we got a Nemesis player down as Ty Duncan Grant had thoughts of taking that away. Can't see who it is, but a player down for the Nemesis.
Again, it just seemed kind of like an innocent battle. Didn't seem like anything was missed by the officiating crew here. As we'll get a look at the replay. Just a two-man game, battling for the Lucy on the turf. And it looks as if he just goes down awkwardly here. As slow to get up for the Nemesis. I believe that's Preston Neal, the big man. So, with that being said, this is where the game will slow down. Matty, you talked about stop time in the last 5 minutes. This is more the chess match game now. Who's going to find the last little bit of effort in the tank? Who's got gas? Just like the U13s. 13 teams made it here to the A provincial title. With that being said, 12 round robin games, 5 games here for 17 games to get to this one. This will be their 18th lacrosse game in 4 weekends, really 3 weekends of lacrosse, but a weekend in the middle they took for rest. So a lot of lacrosse played by these 13 and 14-year-old athletes here from Northumberland and St. Catharines.
Used to have a coach would say, give me 6 hard minutes here and I'll give you 5 months off.
That's exactly it.
Outside from the boards, big high step. It'll be returned back out of the reach of Georgiev. Out from the corner, 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Up top, Griffin Hookings. That one was on target, and a nifty little move by Mac Day to get back towards the corner. Didn't come away with the ball, but will as a result of the interference.
Good job by the Nemesis, though. That's Hudson Ryle, who's just slowed up, didn't plow him into the boards. No penalty there. Just a hard possession earned.
Outside rip as Georgiev saw the C's part. Headed back after the ball, Braxton Sanchez, but Nemesis are there to pick it up and nearly throw it away. Strutting with it. Working around. He was on his wrong side. Is he now going to circle the crease?
Just a lazy, kind of undisciplined penalty coming up here for St. Catharines. It's that big one-hand chop that the officials got his arm up for.
No shot here. Do we have extra penalties? No. Goalie timeout. Nemesis going to be their first of the game. St. Catharines took one more.
Yeah, slashing call coming, and it's going to be against double sixes for St. Catharines. And again, it's just that big one-hand uncontrolled chop, and the officials are going to look for one thing. Do they have control of their stick? And when you swing like that, it's tough to justify you have control. As, again, it's going to be St. Catharines heading back to the penalty box. Their second trip tonight to the sin bin will give Northumberland a power play. They're 0 for 1 to the man advantage, but Ryan McMichael down talking to his 5 that are going to come out for the power play with 5:06 to go. Interesting timeout. However, they have 2 to burn.
Right.
And this will be save 1 now for a last ball situation, last shot. See if they can kind of be that big opportunity, be the difference maker, and get them back within 1 shot.
Ontario Lacrosse Festival here at Iroquois Park Sports Center. We've got the President's Cup coming up August the 23rd through the 30th right here on the main turf. That is Canada's Senior B National Championship. Minto Cup coming to town as well August 16th, 23rd at the Meridian Center in St. Catharines. TheMintoCup.com is where you can find information about that. President's Cup, all of it on OntarioLacrosse.com, where you can find the links to all these great lacrosse events from around the province, including another couple days left here of the 20th anniversary of the festival. Into the final 5 minutes. Outside shot here, going to skip up and out of play. Cameron Pemberton.
I don't think that was the play they wanted here. You have a guy, a righty on the far side on his wrong side of the floor trying to pull that across, and that one just well wide and goes up and out of play. So a good chance taken away here by the St. Catharines penalty killers.
Bryson DiTilio back down the boards. St. Catharines killing off a penalty here, so no need to rush it as Sicard now works past the defender, shoots down towards the feet of Williams and picked up. And that's one of those things as you get to this level, you start to learn, what is a timeout and why is the coach taking it? And if they drop a play, we should probably run that.
Yeah, you'd have to think the ball is going to come to the righties here. A couple of good, big offensive threats on this right side for Northumberland as they go strong right. 3 righties, 2 lefties, and they'll start it on the far wall.
Looked like Dirks was coming up to meet that, and the screen set in front opens the shot from one of the lefties, and it will come back to the restraining line. That one not on the mark, and no time for Pemberton to get another shot away.
Strong penalty kill again. Keeps them way outside. Northumberland has to find a way to break through, as already minute and a half gone in this power play with 3:40 to go and a 5-3 Athletics lead.
Darren Kosolski bringing it back to Sicard. Just going to run out the shot clock. He lifts that up into the rafters here. Bringing the power play time down to 18 seconds. And
not even a shot on goal in this power play yet. Two that have gone wide. But see if they can get something, a little late magic here on their second power play.
Dirks over the top. His shot finds the body of Mac Tay and out to the outside boards. Here's Dirks from distance. Stick saved by John. Player out of the penalty box, and Athletics couldn't pick it up as Dirks was in full sprint to get back and take that transition away with 3 to go in regulation.
Well, second power play again. Northumberland now 0 for 2 tonight with a man advantage, as that's a good kill for St. Catharines. See if they have an answer. A 3-goal lead here is detrimental if you're the Northumberland nemesis.
Nifty move by Fakari. Again, no over and back as it's played here to Louis on St. Catharines' side of center. It'll be lifted back in towards the corner where you can see it's standing room only, about 4 or 5 deep over there by the entrance door.
You got to wonder if St. Catharines may be playing a little too conservative right now. 2 shots will tie this ball game, and St. Catharines already, you see, throwing the ball back, trying to just play the defensive game. They're saying 5 is going to be enough to win this game.
Low shot there on John. He was going to hold his ground. A couple defenders coming in to make sure nothing squeaked out the back door as we near the 2-minute warning. Stick with us after the game for medal presentations, gold, silver, bronze, and the MVP here of the U15 championship game. And then, of course, coming up in under a half an hour, the U17 A provincial championship game. Orangeville, Halton Hills will do battle here on the main turf, right here on the Ontario Lacrosse YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe for all the action from here around the Ontario Lacrosse Festival.
Well, one timeout aside, and again, you might see it coming up in the last minute of this game. $1:30 to go. Scrutton, as the goaltender, going to go to the bench. They need one here, 6-on-5 for the Nemesis.
Dirks will be the extra attacker. Comes in behind Pemberton, who's going to head back to the bench to get Williams back towards the net. Shot there, in and out of the stick. It was Nalisnik that took it. Minute 15 left to go, and we'll see if the Athletics make any effort to push this ball. Looked like Pemberton was asking for help coming up to pressure. Kingston Millard got it over center. A quick peek at the official by Fakari, who was taken down. Big scrum for this ball right off to the right-hand side of the visitors' bench, occupied by Northumberland. We got a timeout somewhere.
Yeah, Northumberland's going to call a timeout. We mentioned the last minute or so. You're going to need to take one. St. Catharines now has a chance at that last shot timeout, up by a pair of goals. Thing I just didn't like about Northumberland there in the last couple of minutes is they really settled in on D, not realizing they need to get the ball as you get a good look at Atwood's goal. That restored that 2-goal lead for St. Catharines. The excitement on his face for the double blue. Northumberland, though, you watch them all qualifiers long. Boy, this team's relentless. They don't stop when they have the lead, or if they're down, they find a way to get the lead back. And now, this is the biggest test of adversity for McMichael's Ball Club here, trailing a pair of goals, 5-3 the score with 53 to go in the third.
If this holds up for me, we watch that last replay of Franklin John standing in, probably gets my vote for MVP. 2 of the 3 goals allowed coming off a kind of mix-up at the bench, where then got kind of rattled off his game a little bit, but has stood in and looked really good. And I hope I just didn't do something here in the last 53 seconds. I apologize, St. Catharines, but
I was going to say, as a goalie myself, I will let you call the last 53 now on that one.
I saw the look in your eyes and realized what I had just done. But the defense chant now from one of the older teams sitting in behind the bench. Going to bounce off a Nemesis player. 39 seconds left to go. And for sure, St. Catharines going to take this shot clock all the way down. Nemesis going to pressure, however. Up at center, someone's lost a stick. It's one of the Northumberland players. They've got a couple back in the defensive end. Running for safety, Keegan Louie. Back behind his own net. Braxton Sanchez. Cross center, rolls it harmlessly back into the corner, and maybe one more chance here for Northumberland. They got to go. Up to center. Jumping the route and picking it off, though, is Keegan Louie, who's going to run it back into his own end and ice a championship for St. Catharines here in the U15 division.
Well, the excitement says it all. Double Blue find a way to get it done where it matters the most, and that is in the gold medal game. And you talked about Frank LeJohn in between the pipes. It started from his great effort in between the pipes here on Championship Saturday. Only allows 3 goals on 25 shots or so. Northumberland kept to the outside all night long. A matter of a 2-0 lead, and that's where St. Catharines took it 2 minutes into this ball game. The offense came alive for St. Catharines here on Saturday, whereas Northumberland fall only held to 3 goals a handful of times. You don't see McMichael's team that kind of beat up here on Saturday too often.
Talked about it in the last game, this Nemesis team. I mean, they're upset about the provincials, but everybody that's been through this tournament, regardless of what level they're at, they talk about the tournament. They talk about the stuff off the floor, the team building and the bonding and the friendships that they gain. This is a Nemesis team that's going to learn from this as they huddle up in the net down to our right around Ryan McMichael. Celebration on to our left and conversation on down to our right, but everybody going to leave this with a good sense once things settle down here after the feelings get felt.
And so much respect here for Ryan McMichael and what he has done with these young athletes. Again, throws the net away, that means nothing right now. What means a lot is what you're going to see on your screen right now. Talk about a team that just gave up a 5-3 loss here at the biggest stage. You work so hard to get here. You battle through the heat, battle through the adversity and injuries of 17 grueling games to play your 18th. You lose at 5-3. But what matters, those boys will be back next year. In 2 years' time, they'll be heading to the OJLL draft. You mark my word, how many names in this program will be on an OJLL back of a uniform very soon.
For Spencer Tanguay and the JVI Sports Network, we thank you for watching this U15 gold medal matchup. We'll leave you with images from the trophy celebration. The next voice you're going to hear is the PA announcer here in-house at Iroquois Park Sports Center. Burlington Blaze coming out to accept their bronze medals. Silver will go to the Northumberland Nemesis. But the double blue are double gold here in Ontario. 5-3 your final score. St. Catharines win in U15. We're about 20 minutes away from the U17 gold medal matchup as well. Be sure you subscribe to the Ontario Lacrosse YouTube channel for that game. It comes your way at 7:30 Eastern Time from the Ontario Lacrosse Festival. My name is Matthew Carrick. We'll talk to you in 20 minutes. Trophy presentation is up next.
Assistant coaches Andy Gillies, Darren Wilkins, and Paul Robbins. Under 50, a bronze medal winning Burlington Blaze. Congratulations.
I'm not going to cheer for you, Joe.
Now introducing your silver medalist, Umberland Nemesis. Number 1, Hunter Williams. Number 9, Mason Lowe. Number 10, Brooklyn McElroy. Number 11, Oliver McCullough. Number 12, Ben Markland. Number 13, Preston Neal. Number 15, Nick Malesnik. Number 18, Coulter Watson. Number 19, Zachary Medema. Number 20, Easton Taylor. Number 21, Cameron Pemberton. Number 22, Hunter Withers. Number 24, Hudson Rial. Number 25, Bobby Strutton. Number 42, Carter Silk. 51, Fulton Dirks. Number 88, Max Bucknell. And number 91, Carter Richards. Your head coach, Brian McMichael. Trainer, Jason Williams. Assistant coaches, Jared Rial, Jason Richards, and Jeff Fernandez. The silver medalist, Northumberland Nemesis. Now introducing your gold medal winners, St. Catharines Athletics. Number 33, Franklin John. Number 48, Patrick Stika. Number 9, Portland Jonathan. Number 10, Griffin Hookings. Number 12, Colin Sakari. Number 14, Kingston Maylard. Number 19, Ty Duncan Grant. Number 21, Keegan Louie. Number 22, Landon Sicard. Number 23, Darren Setskolski. Number 24, Mac Day. Number 26, Richard R. Cahill. Number 27, Bryson DiTilio. Number 37, Olin Gray. Number 43, Connor Atwood. Number 44, Jackson Georgiev. Number 51, Jackson Matia. Number 66, Braxton Sanchez. Number 77, Malachi Vischer. Number 91, Hudson Lord. Number 92, Ian Munley. Number 93, Alex Williams. And number 94, Brendan Watt. Your head coach,
introducing your U15 2025 All-Star team as voted on by the coaches from all teams competing after 2 qualifier weekends. They are as follows. The goaltender from Orangeville, number 30, Calder Nelson. From the Toronto Beaches, number 10, Jake Mancino. From Sarnia, number 88, Bryce Tepp. From Peterborough, number 13, Tyson Kitchen. From Northumberland, number 15, Nick Malisick. From Peterborough, number 88, Colton Adams. Your overall MVP for the 2025 tournament from Northumberland, number 15, Nick Malisick. Once again, a big hand to all contestants for the under 15 age division. Now thank you to the captains, please, from St. Catharines, to the podium. Trophy presentation. Gold medal